Sorry, she twisted her ankle. I have to take her to the hospital. We'll do the license another day. I stood outside the city clerk's office, phone in hand, the biggest joke in the world. I deleted the chat, dialed another number. Does your offer still stand? A beat of silence, then a low, magnetic voice. It does. Send me the address. I'll be there in 20. The glow of the screen lit my bloodless face. Beside Ethan's avatar, a second message had just landed. Oh, and let's postpone next week's wedding too. Lily's situation is tricky, she might need a medical trip abroad. I stared at the line and laughed in rage. 10 years. I had given Ethan a full decade. From high school uniforms to a wedding gown, I'd thought we were written in the stars. But those 10 years were nothing against Lily's whimper of "I need you." Lily had a stomach cramp, and he left my birthday dinner mid-toast. Lily got dumped, and he abandoned me with a fever at 3 a.m. to go drink with her. Today was the day we'd agreed to sign the papers. She merely twisted an ankle, and once again he ditched me. Serena, you're a fool, a hopeless fool. Couples streamed in and out, beaming. Their laughter felt like needles, pricking every inch of my heart. I stood there, a clown discarded by the world. Enough. Really enough. I drew a breath, as if inhaling every grievance of the past 10 years, ready to exhale them for good. I tapped the number I'd never used and called. 3 rings, then pick up. Silence on the line, only soft breathing. I tightened my grip, my fingertips were ice. Mr. Blackwood, what you said at Alex's banquet, does it still count? I meant the family dinner 3 months ago. As Ethan's fiancé, I'd been left on mute while he fussed over Lily's cold. Surrounded by admirers, the man even the Hunts looked up to had cut through the crowd and handed me a glass of warm water. Looking at my miserable face, his voice was cool yet quietly earnest. Anything Ethan can't give, I can. Jordan, if you ever want a different fiancé, call me. I'd taken it as a throwaway line from a titan. Now it was my only lifeline. 5 seconds of silence. Just as I thought he'd hang up, that low voice came again. It does. One word, a meteor ripping through my chest. Trembling, I said, I'm at the city clerk's door right now. Send me the address. Wait for me. 20 minutes. A black Rolls-Royce Phantom glided to the curb with unstoppable presence. The rear door opened, a long, straight leg stepped out. Then Adrian's chiseled, godlike face appeared. Immaculate black suit, posture razor straight, aura so dense the air thinned. Passers-by stared, awestruck. He walked straight to me, noticed my red-rimmed eyes, and his brows pinched a millimeter. He didn't come? No. My voice rasped. Because of Lily? Yes. No more questions. He slipped off his jacket and draped it over my chilled shoulders. The wool carried his crisp woody scent, wrapping me like armor. Got your family register? Yes. I fished it from my bag like a kid handing in homework. He nodded and took my hand naturally. Large, warm, steady, his touch quieted the drum in my chest. Let's go. We walked into the registration hall. The clerk, a young woman, flushed crimson at the sight of Adrian and stammered, Are you here to file a marriage license? Yes, Adrian clipped. Her gaze ping-ponged between us, landing on his face, muttering, Now all the gorgeous guys go for ordinary girls? Ordinary? I was a university's campus queen, just makeup free today. Adrian seemed to hear. He glanced at me, a ghost of a smile tugging his lips. He squeezed my hand and told the clerk, flat and final, to me, she's everything. The girl turned scarlet and buried herself in the paperwork. Photos, forms, signatures. When 2 brand new red booklets slid across the counter, I was still dazed. Married, just like that? From dumped by Ethan to Mrs. Blackwood in under an hour. Outside, sunlight stung. I stared at the red booklet, it felt like a dream. Adrian stopped. Regrets? I shook my head. None. Only disbelief. My phone buzzed, Ethan. Serena, quit sulking. Lily and I landed overseas, I'll come home once she's settled. No rush on the wedding, we have a lifetime. A lifetime? Who wants a lifetime with you? I long pressed his avatar, delete, then block. Silence, glorious silence. Adrian watched, eyes darkening. Car, Mrs. Blackwood. He opened the door, palm shielding my head. The title tripped my heart. The rolls purred into a gated enclave where security rivaled Fort Knox and every mansion was a castle. We halted before the largest estate. A butler and a row of staff bowed in unison. Welcome home, sir. Welcome home, ma'am. The chorus rattled me. Home? This is home now? Adrian helped me out. Move Mrs. Blackwood's luggage to the master suite. Send up the clothes I ordered. Yes, sir. Inside, I finally learned what wealth meant. A living room with a 50-foot ceiling, crystal chandelier blazing, walls hung with museum pieces. Upstairs, the master bedroom. Beyond floor-to-ceiling windows, manicured gardens, an azure pool. A closet the size of a boutique, racks of current season couture, walls of bags and shoes. Every piece is in your size. I stared at Adrian, stunned. He explained as though it were the most ordinary thing in the world. I wasn't sure what style you like, so I had them send a bit of everything. If anything doesn't suit you, we can toss it and order again. What kind of fairy tale move is this? He prepared them in advance? How could he possibly know my size? Questions swarmed my mind. He seemed to read them, pointing to a silver frame on the vanity. I walked over and picked it up. Inside was a photo of me in college, wearing a cap and gown, laughing on commencement day. I didn't even own a copy of this picture. You. I lifted my gaze to him, baffled. I was the keynote speaker that day, he said mildly. You were in the audience, shining brighter than anyone on stage. My heart gave a violent lurch. So this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment whim, he'd been planning, for years? That night, after my shower, Adrian was on the sofa reading a brief. He wore a bathrobe, dark hair still dripping, the daytime sharpness softened into something dangerously domestic. I stood awkwardly, unsure what to do. We might have signed the papers, but we'd known each other less than 24 hours. Come here, he beckoned. I hesitated, then went. He took a hairdryer from the drawer and motioned for me to sit. Standing behind me, he threaded his fingers through my hair and dried it gently. Warm air brushed my scalp, feather-light and tingly. I could smell my own shower gel on him, laced with the cool edge that was uniquely Adrian, an intoxicating, grounding mix. In 10 years, Ethan had never done this. He'd wave it off. You can manage little things yourself. Yet Adrian, on what was technically day one, made it feel effortless. When my hair was done, he wrapped his arms around me from behind, chin resting on my crown. Serena, he murmured, starting today, you never have to envy anyone again. Next morning I woke to a shrill ringtone. The caller ID made my temples throb. Diana, Ethan's mother. I inhaled and answered. Her shrill demand struck instantly. Serena. What is the meaning of this? Ethan says you're throwing a tantrum and ignoring his calls, and now you're not even coming home? Do you realize you've disgraced the entire Hunt family? Before I could speak, Adrian, now awake, took the phone and hit speaker. His voice carried the rasp of sleep, yet absolute authority. Morgan, you're mistaken on several counts. Diana faltered. Who is this? Where's Serena? First, Serena is now my wife. Her home is here, not at the Hunt estate. Second, the one who shamed your family is your son, who abandoned his fiancée at the clerk's office for another woman, not my wife. Third, his tone iced over. Don't ever speak to my wife in that tone again. I can't guarantee Hunt stock will open stable tomorrow. He ended the call with a decisive tap. I gaped, speechless. Boom. That was beyond badass. Adrian set the phone aside and ruffled my hair gently. Did she wake you? I shook my head, warmth flooding through me. For years, whenever Diana nitpicked, Ethan would shrug. That's just Mom, bear with her. No one had ever planted himself squarely in my corner like Adrian. Minutes later my parents rang, voices thick with worry. Serena, are you okay? We heard about you and Ethan. I told them everything. A long silence followed. Finally Dad sighed. This Mr. Blackwood, does he treat you well? He treats me very well. Good, good, Mom choked out. The Hunts weren't worthy of you. Whatever you choose, sweetheart, we're behind you. I hung up, eyes stinging. Adrian pulled me close, stroking my back. From now on, I'm your family. That afternoon he took me to an atelier for a private fitting, wedding gown and evening dresses. The designer herself, Vera Wong, greeted Adrian with deference. Mr. Blackwood, she said, then smiled kindly at me. Mrs. Blackwood's aura is perfect for our new celestial line. Surrounded by attendants, I gazed into the mirror, feeling as if I'd stepped into another life. Just then the door swung open and in walked the last person I wanted to see, Chloe, Lily's best friend. She spotted me, froze, then sneered. Well, Serena. Ethan's flown off with Lily, so you're here trying on gowns all by yourself? Can you even afford the consultation fee? Her voice, sharp and cutting, drew every eye in the salon. She looked me up and down, contempt unmasked. Then again, being dumped gives a girl time to window shop. Word of advice, stick to the sales rack. A single hem here costs more than your yearly rent. Where does this arrogance come from? Did Liang Jingru hand you her courage? Before I could retort, Adrian stepped beside me, arm sliding naturally around my waist, gaze glacial. Miss, what my wife chooses is none of your concern. Chloe's expression flip-flopped the instant she saw him. Her scorn melted into a fawning grin. Sir, you should watch out, this woman just got jilted, she might be hunting for a bailout. Adrian's eyes narrowed. A bailout? He gave a low laugh. My marriage to my wife was agreed upon by the Blackwood and Alex clans long ago. As for you, insulting her on my turf, who gave you the gall? Chloe's face drained of color. Your turf? Dara Wong stepped forward, inclining her head to Adrian. Mr. Blackwood, shall I have security escort her out? No need, he replied evenly. Add her to the industry blacklist. I don't want to see her in any premium establishment again. Understood, Mr. Blackwood. Chloe stood stunned, lips trembling, speechless. 2 guards politely invited her out. Scene over. Adrian glanced down at me, gentle again. Shaken? I shook my head, secretly elated. Epic. This is how a top tycoon delivers a face slap. Wait, you said Blackwood and Alex? I latched onto the detail. He answered, smoothing a loose strand of my hair. To put your parents at ease, I've instructed my team to negotiate a partnership with your father's firm. From now on, we're a power match, equal in every way. I stared, stunned. My father's company is just a small industrial outfit, a single strand of cow hair against the hide when set beside the Blackwood Group. His so-called partnership is nothing but one-way charity. He's thought of everything for me, even soothed my parents' worries. Exactly how many things has this man done for me that I still don't know? That evening we returned to Blackwood Manor. Adrian's elders greeted my arrival with overwhelming warmth and goodwill. His grandfather clasped my hand, grinning ear to ear. Good girl, our Adrian's got an eye. From now on, inside these walls, no one dares bully you. Adrian's parents presented lavish welcome gifts, looking at me with open fondness. I could feel they truly accepted me, not because Adrian decreed it, but because they wanted to. After dinner he led me for a stroll through the manor gardens. Grandpa adores you, he said. He watched your college debate final and declared, that girl's got a spine of steel. I blinked in surprise. You even showed them that? He lifted my hand to his lips. I wanted them to know how brilliant the woman I married is. Under the moon his eyes outsparkled the stars. My heart surrendered completely. 1 week later Ethan came back. He seemed oblivious to the earthquake that had shaken the city in his absence. The moment his plane touched down he dialed my number. Blocked. He tried a second phone. When the call connected his tone carried impatience and condescending forgiveness. Serena, are you done throwing your tantrum? I'm home. Dinner tonight, and I brought you a gift. The entitlement in his voice was laughable. Jamie, I think we've said everything we need to. What do you mean? His voice spiked. Because I postponed the license and the ceremony? Lily's condition was critical. Why can't you show a little understanding? 10 years together, and you toss it away over a mood swing? 10 years? More like a decade-long monologue starring me. I couldn't be bothered. I'm already married. I hung up. No doubt he dismissed it as a stunt. In his universe Serena never walks away from him. That night Adrian and I attended a downtown gala. I wore the Starsky Vera Wong custom creation. He chose a matching midnight blue tuxedo. Together we looked carved by fate itself. The venue was thick with A-listers. Adrian's entrance commanded instant attention. Hand in hand, he announced, everyone, meet my wife, Serena. A ripple of shock, envy, and awe circled the room. I met it without flinching, lawfully wedded, nothing to hide. Mid-gala an uninvited ghost arrived, Ethan, Lily clinging to his arm in calculated distress. Spotting Adrian and me entwined, his face drained to chalk, he strode over and seized my wrist. Serena! What stunt is this? Who is he? His grip bit bone. Adrian's gaze iced. One by one he pried Ethan's fingers free and tucked me back against him. Dylan, he said, voice glacial, take your hands off my wife. Ethan barked a laugh. Your wife? Who the hell are you? Serena is my fiancé. Former fiancé, Emery. Nearby conversations halted, spectators circled. Lily tugged Ethan's sleeve, whispering, "Hwyan, don't be angry." Serena must be confused, Adrian cut her short. He raised my left hand, the pink diamond catching chandeliers. "Look closely, Dylan." His words rang low but clear across the hall. Serena is my wife, legal in every sense. Ethan's expression froze. He stared at the ring, then at me, hunting for any hint of a joke. There was none. My face was calm glass. "No. Impossible," he mumbled, bloodless. "Serena, this isn't funny. I'm not laughing." I locked eyes with him. "The day you chose Lily over me at the clerk's office, I married him instead. Why?" His eyes reddened, voice cracking. "Why didn't you wait? I told you I'd come back. Wait, for your next disappearing act?" I gave a cold chuckle. "Ethan, what makes you think I'd stay on standby forever? 10 years, he roared. 10 years of you soaking up my devotion and sprinting after other women. That's not love, it's narcissism." Each sentence drove a blade deeper. The cocky certainty he'd worn all his life shattered in seconds. The old illusion that I'd always be within arm's reach dissolved. Lily leapt into her routine, eyes brimming, tears on command. "Serena, don't blame Hwyan. It's my fault, if not for me, you too." "Shut it." Adrian's quiet order sliced through her act. "Quinn, that twisted ankle, domestic flight, transatlantic hop, back again, all healed in 7 days? Impressive." He flicked a dossier onto the carpet before Ethan. "Luxury store receipts from her medical trip, plus photos of her nights with your dear friend in a hotel suite." Ethan's knees nearly buckled as he stared at the images, Lily smiling in another man's arms, the man he trusted most. "It's not true," he whispered. Lily's face drained of color. "Hwyan, listen, he set me up." But Ethan's world had already imploded, double betrayal by the two people closest to him, his towering pride reduced to rubble in one evening. He shot me a blood-red glare, then Adrian, before stumbling out of the ballroom without a word. After that night, Ethan vanished for good. I heard that Hunt Industries had several key partnerships frozen overnight after offending Adrian, wiping billions off the stock price in a single day. Old Mr. Hunt collapsed from rage and was rushed to the hospital. Ethan himself was banished from the family estate and exiled abroad to fend for himself. As for Lily, her reputation in our circle was ruined beyond repair. With a flick of his fingers, Adrian made her a pariah. The same heirs who once flattered her now crossed the street to avoid her. Everything had settled. My life returned to calm. No, to a sweetness I'd never known, the feeling of being cupped in someone's palms. Adrian remembers every preference of mine. I hate cilantro, so he warns the kitchen in advance. I love old movies, so he turns the entire villa into a private cinema and watches with me all afternoon. I mentioned once that I wanted to see the aurora. The next day we were on his jet to Iceland. He gave me a wedding lavish and romantic. Before every guest he dropped to one knee and slid the ring on my finger. "Serena," he said, looking up at me, devotion brimming in his eyes, "my long, calculated wait has finally come true." Only then did I realize his secret love had lasted far longer than a year or two. From the day of our college commencement his gaze had never left me. He watched me light up for Ethan, watched me ache for Ethan. He watched me hurt again and forgive again and again. He said the jealousy nearly drove him mad, yet he kept waiting for me to turn around, to see him. Thank heavens I turned. Thank heavens he was still there. Married life is quiet and happy. I quit my old job and, with Adrian's support, opened my own florist studio. Every evening after work he detours to pick me up, a bouquet in hand, never one from my own stock. He says, "My wife's shop sells flowers to the world, my flowers are for my wife alone." This man, how can he be so smooth? My heart somersaults daily. I'm learning, real love doesn't force you to grovel in the dust and bloom from it. Real love tells you that you are already a one-of-a-kind blossom, worthy of being watered with the world's best adoration and respect. I once thought Ethan was my whole world, until I met Adrian. Only then did I see that true love makes you a better version of yourself, keeps the light in your eyes alive forever. Business at the studio steadied, my days are full and satisfying. One afternoon, while I was trimming a new shipment of Dutch tulips, an unexpected figure appeared at the door. It was Ethan. He had lost weight, haggard, wearing washed-out old clothes, the spark in his eyes extinguished, nothing left but lifeless gray. He looked nothing like the proud Hunt heir I remembered. He stood outside, not entering, devouring me with his eyes. The shop assistant didn't know him and asked warily, "Sir, would you like to buy flowers?" He shook his head, gaze never leaving me. I set down the shears and walked out. "Is something wrong?" My tone was calm. "Serena." His voice came hoarse. I'm back." "So?" "I was wrong," he said, eyes reddening, voice thick with regret. "I shouldn't have hurt you again and again for Lily, shouldn't have taken your devotion for granted. Come back to me, let's start over." "Start over, on what grounds?" I stared at him, feeling only absurdity. "Ethan, have you forgotten? I'm married." "I know." He stepped forward urgently. "You can divorce. Adrian only wants the novelty, someone like him never lacks women." Only I love you truly," I laughed. "True love? Your true love abandoned me at the clerk's office for another woman? Your true love let me swallow 10 years of grievances?" I pointed toward the curb. Every day at this hour Adrian's car appears exactly on time. The window slid down, revealing his handsome profile. He didn't get out, he simply watched us, his gaze a quiet vote of absolute trust. "See him?" I said to Ethan. "That is my husband, the man who said I'll marry you when the world tossed me aside, the man who memorizes every like and dislike and crowns me princess. You, Ethan, are nothing." My words were the final straw. He crumpled to his knees and wept like a child. "Serena, I really regret it, please, give me one more chance." I didn't spare him another glance. I turned toward Adrian's car. Some people, once missed, are missed forever. Not every sorry earns a no problem. I opened the door and settled into the passenger seat. Adrian asked nothing, he simply leaned over to buckle my seatbelt, then brushed a soft kiss to my forehead. "Welcome home, Mrs. Blackwood." I glanced back at the sobbing figure outside the window, feeling nothing. My happiness no longer has anything to do with him. The ride home was quiet. Adrian drove in focused silence, never raising the topic. But I knew he had seen everything. "Aren't you going to ask?" I finally said. He glanced over, lips curving. "Ask what?" "Whether your heart softened?" I pursed my lips. "So? What do you think?" "I think," he said, lifting my hand and lacing our fingers, "my wife is the smartest, most decisive woman on earth. She knows exactly who deserves her love." Champion flatterer. His words lit me up inside. "Obviously," I replied, chin high. Back home he carried me to the sofa, then knelt before me, looking up. His eyes were serious. "Serena, Emery you." I blinked. "Emery me for what?" "Emery you for choosing me," he said, "and for not turning back." I caught a flicker of fear in his gaze, fear that I might have wavered because of a decade of history. I kept his face. "Listen, Adrian. The single best decision I've ever made was dialing your number the afternoon I was dumped. Falling for you, marrying you, is the greatest luck of my life." His eyes reddened. The next second he crushed me in an embrace so tight it felt he meant to fuse us into one. "So am I," he whispered against my ear, over and over. It turned out that Ethan's company hadn't imploded overnight by chance, nor had Lily been blacklisted by accident. Adrian had quietly greased every wheel that sent them skidding. "I'm a businessman," he said, looking straight at me, "and I won't let anyone who threatens my wife's happiness stay happy for long." He even admitted that the speech he'd delivered at the Hunt estate dinner had been pre-engineered. He'd already investigated the murky history between Ethan and Lily, calculated the day Ethan would finally do something to kill my love for him, and then waited. He'd been placing a bet that I would finally hand him a chance. Well, so the big bad wolf had his eye on little white rabbit from the start. I pretended to be annoyed and thumped his arm. "You manipulative devil." He caught my fist, pressed a kiss to my knuckles, and grinned like a cat that had just stolen the cream. "All's fair in love and war." He paused, then added, "but only when it comes to you." I stared at him, my chest so full there was no room left for anything except gratitude and love. This man had plotted every step to win me, taking nothing for granted. Yet every move he'd made had been rooted in loving me. What excuse did I have not to love him back? Life settled into a gentle rhythm, quiet, but sweeter every day. Adrian pampered me to heights I'd never imagined. My florist studio needed a designer. The next morning a world-renowned floral artist was on payroll. I mentioned wanting to learn pastry, By the third day, a Michelin-starred pastry chef was giving me private lessons. I felt as though I'd been dropped into the pages of a romance novel, and Adrian was the omnipotent CEO who could move mountains with a phone call. One afternoon, I picked up a call from a college roommate I hadn't spoken to in ages, someone who'd once been close to both Ethan and Lily. She asked me to tea, insisting she had something to give me. I hesitated, then said yes. We met at a quiet cafe. She looked exhausted, and when she saw me, her eyes filled with a complicated tangle of emotions. "Serena, you're doing well." I answered with a small nod. She pulled an old phone from her purse and slid it across the table. "It's Lily's. She got drunk before she flew overseas and left it at my place." I raised an eyebrow. "What's inside?" she said, drawing a shaky breath. Our years of texts between her and Ethan, starting way back. Something dropped in my stomach. She exhaled slowly. "I used to think you were overreacting, that Ethan saw Lily as a sister. After I read those, I'm sorry. We all blamed you for nothing." I powered the battered phone on and opened a password-protected album, endless screenshots of Ethan and Lily's WhatsApp threads, time-stamped from our freshman year onward. Every time Ethan bailed on me for Lily's sake, he messaged her afterward. "Cancelled on Serena, she can wait, you matter. Don't worry, I'm on my way." That sap is easy to pacify. A wedding's just paperwork, your mood is what counts. Every concession I'd made for 10 years had registered to them as gullible and a joke. The love story I thought we'd shared had been a one-woman show. He played the devoted fiancé in public while he and his childhood sweetheart laughed at me in private. I flipped through the images one by one, my heart oddly still, no wrath, no sting, because I no longer cared. These revelations only proved what a blessing it had been to walk away without a backward glance. I returned the phone. "It's all in the past," I said. She studied my calm expression, opening and closing her mouth before finally murmuring, "Word is, Ethan's having a rough time abroad, some kind of breakdown, mentally." I lifted my coffee and sipped. Bitter brew, clear mind. He'd earned every shard of his ruin, my happiness was only beginning. Outside, Adrian's Rolls-Royce waited at the curb. The moment I slid in, he sensed the shift in my mood. "What happened?" he asked, worry shadowing his face. I showed him the few screen grabs my roommate had just airdropped to me. The farther he scrolled, the darker his expression grew until the air around us felt vacuum-sealed. "Here comes the apocalypse." I threaded my fingers through his. "I'm fine, truly. Those screenshots only make me grateful I got out." He was silent a long time, then said, voice low with self-reproach, "I should have pulled you away from him sooner. I'm sorry you were hurt at all." I shook my head and rested my cheek against his shoulder. "No such thing as too late," I whispered. Everything lined up exactly right. Had those 10 grinding years not happened, I might never have learned how rare and precious a healthy love can be. Had Ethan not slammed the final door, I might never have dialed the number that rewrote my entire life. Every meeting carries its purpose. My rendezvous with Adrian is the most beautiful purpose of mine. A year later, I was pregnant. Adrian turned into a nervous rookie dad, ready to tether me to his side 24/7. He cleared every non-essential meeting from his calendar and marched home on the dot each evening. Every night he read bedtime stories for the baby through my belly, massaged my swollen calves, treating me like a national treasure carved from crystal. I would study the sharp line of his profile and flash back to the day we filed our marriage certificate, the moment this man descended like a miracle and dragged me from the abyss, striding toward me against the light, becoming every sunrise of my remaining years. Our son arrived rosy and perfect, a miniature carbon copy of Adrian. When Adrian held that tiny, downy bundle, his eyes turned scarlet. The titan who could topple markets with a memo now looked softer than melted butter. Cradling the baby, he knelt by my bedside and pressed a reverent kiss to my forehead. "Thank you, Mrs. Blackwood, thank you for everything." I gazed at him, then at our flawless boy, and smiled. Sunlight streamed through the window, warm breeze fluttering the curtains. Everything I once thought I'd lost, life had repaid me double in a currency far more precious. Let go of the wrong heart, and the right one strides straight into yours. And me? I'm Rowan. Thank you for listening to our story tonight. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales just like this. See you next time.